What's up, everybody? In today's video, I'm going to be booking the next 5 VTW World Champions. So basically, I'll tell you how this is going to work first. I'm not going to include the current champions at the moment. Um, so basically, I'm not including Tyler Aiken, who is the current world champion. I'm going to book who's going to defeat Tyler Aiken and who's going to be the next 4 champions after said person. So now that you know how this is going to work, let's get to it. So let's get this out of the way. I'm not saying Ecstatic should be the one to dethrone Tyler Aiken because I'm his biggest fan. I'm saying this because number one, he truly deserves it, and number two, it would make sense to the current story. I'm not doing this for biased reasons. I'm sure there's going to be somebody in the comments, possibly, that's going to be like, you're just saying that because you're Ecstatic's biggest fan, this, and that. But, like, that's far from the case. I'm trying to be unbiased about this, and I'm just gonna include Ecstatic because I think it would make sense. So basically, they're making it look like a lot that Ecstatic is going to be Tyler's opponent at a future VTW event, whether it's Mania this year or possibly at VTW Locked Up or whatever. They're making it look like at some point Ecstatic is going to be Tyler's opponent for that VTW championship. Now, obviously, it's not going to be at Locked Up now that I think about it because Tyler's going to be defending it there, but in that penitentiary match. But it's probably going to be at Mania. That's my prediction. I could make my full prediction on the VTW Mania match card since it was requested by VTW, but for now, I'm going to be doing this video. Um, yeah, like, Ecstatic definitely would make sense to dethrone Tyler, for Ecstatic to be the savior of VTW. And, yeah, like, it's like I've been saying, like, it would just make a lot of sense, for sure. Now, hypothetically, I would make Ecstatic hold this championship for a good while. Maybe, uh, let's say around the 4 to 6 month mark. Like, have him have like a handful of successful title defenses before losing it, and just make him look like a solid champion. Like, that's how I would personally book it. So the next person I'm going to be putting on this list, aka the person that would hypothetically dethrone Ecstatic for the VTW World title, would be Novin. Now, you could say it could be Navon McDonald. I wouldn't mind that either. But I think it would be interesting for specifically Navon McDonald's dark side, Novin, to take over for a long time and have him be Ecstatic for the World Championship. Just have this horrifying run as the dominant VTW champion. Like, I think if it was done right, it would go down as one of the best VTW World title reigns. Like, it would be pretty interesting to see, to say the least. Now, how long will I make him hold it? I would probably make him hold it from, like, let's say he beats Ecstatic for the world title at, like, Christmas Chaos this year to end the VTW 2024 season, 2025 season, you know what I mean. But, and gets to hold it all the way up until Mania 2026. That's about how long I would make him hold the championship. Now, I already know who I would put in at number 3 on this list, but let me tell you how I would make it work. So, I already said that Novin would be the one to defeat Ecstatic for the World Championship. I think it would be super interesting, but that's not the point in this portion of the video. In this portion of the video, I would say how the next World Champion would, how would it would work, basically. So basically, VTW has the Reunion Rumble this year, and maybe like later this year I could book. I could like do how I would personally book the 2026 VTW Reunion Rumble. It would probably be my longest video too, but I could go down to the entrances and who would get eliminated and when they would get eliminated and who would win the match. So let me know if you'd like to see that. It would probably be a fairly difficult video to make, but I'm willing to make it. I mean, I wouldn't mind making it. But basically, VTW would have the Reunion Rumble this year, and instead of putting the world title on the line in this year's Rumble, they would make this the number one contendership for the VTW Championship, and it would be for the number one contendership, like a guaranteed shot at the championship at Mania this year. Now, who would I have win the match? Well, to me, that's easy to say. To me, it'd be one of the only characters that would make sense to defeat such a menacing character like Novin. I think it would be a character like D-Lock. Now, D-Lock, I know I mention him a lot, and I know I praise him a lot, and it sounds like I'm just putting him on here because I really like D-Lock. But I truly feel like he'd be another character that would make sense to beat a character like Nova. And like, he's one of those characters that supposedly fear nothing. Now in this universe, the build up would just be Nova putting D-Lock through psychological hell. Like, just messing with his mind, just a lot of mind games and stuff. And eventually I think D-Lock would start doing the same thing. But it would just be a lot of Novin just making D-Lock just doubt himself this whole journey. Like, D-Lock just doubting, like, can I really beat this guy? Can I really have the advantage on this guy? And then, of course, it would all come together at Mania, and D-Lock would find his way back to the World Championship and officially be a two-time World Champion. Not just that, but would win his first Reunion Rumble. So, that would be a cool thing for D-Lock. Now, in this second reign as world champion, I would give D-Lock a pretty consistent title reign. I would go as far as saying let him hold the championship for like a full year. I don't think that would be such a bad thing to do. Like, he's there all the time. He's a consistent competitor. I think he's a reliable wrestler to deliver with a full year's worth of a world title reign. And I think that would be pretty cool to see. But I think a really cool competitor to defeat D-Lock for the world title would be none other than one of his best friends, aka Dustin Reagan. I think it would be an interesting match. We've had this match before, but never in the modern era, aka the versus the World Wrestling era. I don't think we've had that match yet. And they're making it look like we may get that match down the line, very soon down the line, too. But I think it'd be cool to have, like, sort of like a rubber match between the three, because I think this hypothetical match would be the third time they'd be facing off. And it would be the first time they'd be facing off for a title. So that would be cool to see, like I said. Um, um, Sorry, those words just kind of came out weirdly. But, yeah, like, it'd be cool to see this happen. I I think Dustin was an amazing world champion last time he was VTW World Champion. And I think he's a wrestler that's really slept on, in my opinion. I don't see very many people, like, praising Dustin Reagan. Like most of the time I see people, like, saying, Nikki Chooch is the man, or, um, I could, I'll probably see, like, an Aaron Jones comment, or a Zach Daniels comment, or whatever, but, like, wrestlers like him and D-Lock are kind of slept on it, which is why I can kind of see why VTW was kind of excited when I praised D-Lock a little bit in a comment way back, saying, like, I'm convinced D-Lock's never had a bad match before. They were like, I know, right? And I'm like, yeah, they got awful excited when I said that, and now I can see why. Like, I wasn't judging before, but, like, I'm certainly not judging now, because, like, both of those wrestlers are very slept on, and I'd definitely like to see a world title run from Dustin Reagan once again. But I forgot to say when would I have him defeat D-Lock. It's like I said, D-Lock will hold the title for a full year, so let's say Mania 2027. I think that'd be pretty cool to see. Now, by far, I think the only option on who to defeat Dustin Reagan for the World Championship, it's basically an obvious pick. I don't know how anybody didn't think about this. By far, my pick is Blue Cyclone. No, I'm kidding. VTW, do not kill me. Now, at least after a few months, I would probably have Dustin lose it at like, um, trying to think of events they do after Mania. Probably like Halloween Hangover, let's say. He loses it in like a brutal steel cage match, since I think that's what they did for the last Halloween Hangover, if I'm not mistaken, to Chase Bridges. Now, why Chase Bridges? I guess it's just because I thought long and hard about wrestlers that I think would make sense in terms of defeating Dustin Reagan. Now, I thought of a few different wrestlers, but I guess I just picked one I'd like to see and can also see realistically happening. Now, we haven't seen Chase Bridges in a while, that's no secret, but I think hopefully in a few years or so, Chase will be a very much active wrestler in the VTW roster, and around the 2028 season, because that's kind of where we're at in this hypothetical story of the VTW World Championship, um, Chase Bridges ends up being the next world champion. Now, let me know what you thought of this video. I thought some of these picks were kind of iffy, but interesting at the same time. I I thought I did some fair picks in this video, and I'm hoping, whoever watches this feels the same. Now, do I actually think these will happen? Well, hopefully, but like, I'm kind of 50-50 split on most of these. Ecstatic, I'm positive will be the next world champion, but I could be wrong about that too. So, like, you never know. Like, nothing's really guaranteed, but like, I do really think Ecstatic will be the next world champion. Not just because he's my favorite, but just because I can see it happening. Like, that's probably gonna happen. But the rest of these like could go either way. I mean, I do see D-Lock becoming a two-time world champion at some point. Now, will it happen when I said it might happen? Probably not, but I can kind of see it happening at some point. Maybe it's gonna happen sooner than I predicted it's gonna happen. But that's just an example. Other title reigns I can see happening down the line that I mentioned in this video, I could somewhat see Dustin holding a championship at some point. Whether it's that title or the YouTube title, or maybe even the third championship that they might be bringing in one of these days. But yeah, Dustin I can see holding a championship again. He's definitely deserving of one. Like, I know he's only been back in VTW for a fairly short amount of time, but I think he's one of those slept on wrestlers that like has the skills and stuff that he can easily just win a championship and prove why he deserves the championship. But nevertheless, I hope you enjoyed the video. Definitely like let me know if you want to see any of the ideas I came up with in this video, and I'll tell you that the next video I'm still debating on. It's either going to be my top 5 favorite pay-per-views from the current era of VTW, aka the Versus the World era, or I'm going to be booking this hypothetical third championship. It's probably going to be either one of those. Maybe it's going to be neither of them, but the plan is it's going to be one of those videos. But nevertheless, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you've been enjoying my content. I'm sure whoever's been watching this has been enjoying my content, because it's mostly just been VTW wrestlers, or maybe some of my friends, but like, I just hope that these videos have been worthwhile, because I definitely wouldn't be making these videos if it wasn't worthwhile to anybody that's been watching these videos. Like, I'd say the VTW wrestlers in the VTW universe are the only reasons I'm making this video. And also just the pro wrestling community in general. Like those who like enjoy this content and actually like stay up to see these types of videos. Like it's definitely for them. And yeah, maybe later today I will be doing my predictions, my first non VTW video for tonight's Saturday night's main event. So we'll see that hopefully tonight. Either that or I'll be rating the matches. Either way. Um, but yeah, I'll say this for the millionth time. I hope you enjoyed the video and be good people.